The political landscape in Washington has been shaken by reports that Donald Trump has fired Kristi Noem amid growing frustration inside the White House and among members of the Republican Party. A dramatic development that has quickly become one of the most talked about political stories in Washington. According to several insiders familiar with the situation, tensions had reportedly been building behind the scenes for weeks as disagreements over strategy, messaging, and internal coordination began to surface between senior officials, White House advisors, and Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill. While the administration has not publicly detailed every factor behind the decision, sources suggest that the growing divide between certain members of the president's team and key Republican figures in Congress created an increasingly difficult environment that eventually pushed the situation to a breaking point. Political analysts say that such moments are not uncommon in Washington, where the pressure of governing intense media scrutiny and constant political battles often place enormous strain on relationships inside an administration. For Donald Trump, the decision to dismiss Kristi Noem is seen by many observers as another example of his leadership style, which has long been characterized by direct decision-making, a strong emphasis on loyalty, and a willingness to make rapid personnel changes when he believes that individuals are no longer aligned with his administration's priorities. Throughout his political career, Trump has often argued that decisive leadership requires the ability to act quickly when internal conflicts begin to threaten the effectiveness of a team. Supporters of the move believe that removing officials who are seen as contributing to internal tension can help restore focus and discipline within the administration, particularly during moments when the political stakes are high. Critics, however, argue that frequent leadership changes can create instability, making it more difficult for government agencies and political teams to maintain consistent strategies over time. These differing perspectives highlight the deeply polarized nature of modern American politics, where almost every major decision quickly becomes part of a broader national debate. Reports from Capitol Hill suggest that some Republican lawmakers had privately expressed concerns about communication problems between certain White House officials and members of Congress, issues that can significantly complicate the process of coordinating legislation and advancing a shared political agenda. In Washington, maintaining strong relationships between the executive branch and lawmakers from the president's own party is often essential for passing key policies, especially when the political environment is highly competitive and every vote in Congress carries major importance. When disagreements begin to surface publicly or when communication breaks down behind the scenes, it can weaken the party's ability to present a unified message to voters and political allies. For this reason, many analysts believe that the frustration reportedly building among GOP lawmakers may have played an important role in the decision to remove Noem from her position. At the same time, supporters of Kristi Noem have been quick to defend her record, pointing out that she has been one of the most recognizable and influential conservative voices in American politics over the past several years. Having built a reputation as a strong advocate for conservative policies, Noem has often been praised by supporters for her outspoken positions on issues ranging from economic policy to cultural debates within the United States. Many of her allies argue that disagreements within political leadership teams are normal, and that such disputes do not necessarily reflect a failure in leadership. Instead, they suggest that the tensions described in recent reports may reflect broader debates within the Republican Party about strategy, messaging, and the best way to approach the rapidly changing political landscape of the country. Political strategists note that internal debates are a common feature of large political parties, especially those that include a wide range of ideological viewpoints and regional priorities. Within the Republican Party, for example, there are often differences between lawmakers who focus heavily on economic policy, those who emphasize cultural and social issues, and others who prioritize foreign policy or national security concerns. Balancing these perspectives while maintaining party unity can be an extremely difficult challenge for any administration. In this context, the removal of a high-profile figure such as Kristi Noem may signal an attempt by the White House to reset internal dynamics and reestablish clearer lines of communication between different factions within the party. Another factor adding to the significance of this development is the broader political environment in the United States, where both major parties are already preparing for upcoming electoral contests that could shape the future of the country's political direction. Leadership changes inside the White House often attract intense media coverage because they may indicate shifts in strategy or priorities that could influence future policy decisions. Observers are therefore watching closely to see whether Trump will appoint a replacement who brings a different approach to managing relationships with lawmakers and coordinating the administration's messaging. The choice of a successor could reveal a great deal about the administration's next steps and the direction it plans to take in addressing both domestic and international issues. Meanwhile, the reaction from across Washington has been mixed, reflecting the complex and often divided nature of American political discourse. Some Republican leaders have expressed understanding of the president's decision, emphasizing the importance of unity and effective communication within the party's leadership structure. Others have been more cautious in their public statements, choosing to avoid direct criticism while acknowledging that internal tensions can sometimes lead to difficult decisions. Democratic lawmakers, on the other hand, have pointed to the situation as evidence of ongoing instability within the administration, arguing that frequent leadership conflicts can distract from the serious policy challenges facing the country as the story continues to develop. Journalists and political analysts are working to uncover additional details about the events that led to the firing and the potential consequences it may have for the administration's political strategy moving forward. Leadership changes at this level often trigger a period of adjustment within government institutions, as new officials step into key roles and attempt to rebuild working relationships with colleagues and lawmakers. Whether the removal of Kristi Noem ultimately strengthens the administration's internal unity or leads to further controversy remains an open question. But there is little doubt that the decision has already sparked a significant political conversation throughout Washington and beyond. In the end, the firing of Kristi Noem highlights the intense pressures and constant power dynamics that define life at the highest levels of American politics. Behind every major political decision lies a complex mixture of strategy, personality, ideology, and public perception, all of which can influence the direction of an administration. As new developments emerge and political leaders respond to the situation, the coming weeks will likely reveal whether this dramatic move marks the beginning of a broader shift within the White House or simply another chapter in the ever-changing story of political leadership in the United States.